Welcome back to Story Fluency, the channel where you learn English through true stories that actually stay in your memory. He barely speaks a single word on screen. His face, his body, and his silence are the entire joke. And somehow, this strange, silent man in a tweed jacket became one of the most recognized characters on planet Earth. Loved in countries where people do not even speak a word of English. This is the true story of the man behind Mr. Bean, and the surprising, quiet reason why a character with almost no dialogue became a global sensation. Stay with us till the end, because his own personal story is nothing like the character he plays. And if you are new here, hit subscribe, because Story Fluency brings you a new true story every week to help you learn English the natural way. The man behind Mr. Bean is named Rowan Atkinson. He was born in 1955 in the northeast of England into a farming family that had nothing at all to do with comedy or acting. Here is the surprising part. As a child, Rowan actually struggled with a stammer, a speech condition that made it difficult for him to speak smoothly and clearly, especially in front of other people. Many children who struggle with speech tend to become quiet, shy, and cautious in social situations, avoiding attention rather than seeking it out. Rowan was no different in many ways. He was a quiet, private child, more interested in machines, engineering, and building things than in performing in front of a crowd. Nobody in his family or his early school life expected this shy, science-focused boy to grow up and become one of the most famous comedic performers in the entire world. Rowan went on to study engineering at university, first at Newcastle University, and later continuing his studies at Oxford University. He was a serious, capable student, fully expected to graduate and move into a stable, technical career, likely working quietly behind the scenes somewhere in the engineering industry. But at Oxford, something unexpected happened. Rowan began performing in small university comedy shows, and almost immediately, people noticed something unusual about him. On stage, this same quiet, stammering young man transformed completely. His stammer, which caused him real difficulty in ordinary conversation, almost disappeared entirely when he was performing a scripted, rehearsed character. He discovered that his real comedic talent was not built around clever, witty dialogue at all. Instead, it was built around his face, his physical movement, and his perfect sense of timing. He could raise a single eyebrow, twist his mouth slightly, or pause for just the right number of seconds, and an entire room would burst into laughter, often without him saying a single word. Throughout the late 1970s and into the 1980s, Rowan Atkinson steadily built a serious reputation within British comedy and television. He became well known for a stage show called Rowan Atkinson Live, showcasing his unique talent for physical comedy and sharp character work. He also became one of the stars of a popular historical comedy series called Blackadder, playing a clever, sharp-tongued nobleman scheming his way through different periods of English history. Blackadder relied heavily on fast, witty, complicated dialogue, proving that Rowan was not simply a physical comedian. He was also a genuinely skilled actor with excellent comic timing in spoken performance as well. By the late 1980s, Rowan Atkinson was already a respected, successful name within British comedy. But nothing in his career so far had prepared audiences for what was coming next. In 1990, Rowan Atkinson introduced a brand new character to British television, Mr. Bean. The idea behind Mr. Bean was deliberately simple, almost experimental. Rowan wanted to create a character who barely spoke at all, relying almost entirely on physical comedy, facial expression, and simple, everyday situations that quickly spiraled into complete chaos. A trip to the swimming pool, a visit to church, a simple attempt to paint a room, ordinary tasks became disaster after disaster in the hands of this strange, childlike man. Rowan later explained that he wanted Mr. Bean to feel like a curious, overgrown child trapped inside an adult's body, someone who approached the simplest everyday tasks with complete confusion and who reacted to small problems with wildly exaggerated panic or excitement. There was something oddly innocent about the character, even when his behavior was clearly selfish or strange. Audiences did not just laugh at him. In a strange way, many people also found themselves quietly rooting for him. This choice turned out to be a stroke of genius, though nobody could have fully predicted its impact at the time, because Mr. Bean relied so heavily on physical comedy rather than spoken dialogue. The show did not need to be translated into other languages to be understood. A child in Japan, a grandmother in Brazil, and a teenager in Pakistan could all watch the exact same episode and laugh at the exact same moments without needing a single word of English translated for them. Mr. Bean quickly became something far bigger than a British television show. It became one of the most widely exported pieces of English entertainment in television history, broadcast in more than 200 countries and territories around the entire world. Rowan Atkinson had, almost accidentally, created something extremely rare, a character built entirely around universal human comedy, the kind of physical humor that has made people laugh since long before spoken language even existed. Falling over, getting stuck in awkward situations, panicking over something small, these are jokes that do not require a shared language at all. The character became so globally recognized that Mr. Bean eventually appeared on animated series, in feature films, and even during major international events, including a globally broadcast performance during the London 2012 Olympic opening ceremony, watched by well over 1 billion people around the entire planet. In that single performance, without saying one single word, Rowan Atkinson managed to make an enormous, worldwide audience laugh together, all at once, a level of shared, wordless comedy very few performers in history have ever achieved on such a massive scale. Even decades after the original show first aired, new generations of children continue discovering Mr. Bean for the very first time, often through short video clips online, proving that the character's simple, universal style of comedy has barely aged at all since 1990. Here is something that surprises many fans when they first learn it. Rowan Atkinson, in his real everyday life, is almost the complete opposite of Mr. Bean. While Mr. Bean is loud in his physical comedy, chaotic, and constantly the center of attention, Rowan Atkinson himself is famously quiet, private, and somewhat reserved in interviews and public appearances. He has spoken openly, at different points in his life, about struggling with real shyness, and has said that performing scripted characters always felt far more comfortable to him than simply being himself in front of a camera or a crowd of strangers. Away from the cameras, Rowan has long held a genuine passion for something few people would expect from a famous comedian: fast cars. He has been a serious car enthusiast for decades, even competing in amateur car racing events during quieter periods of his career, far away from any television set or film studio. While Mr. Bean remains his most globally famous role, Rowan Atkinson built a career far bigger than just one single character. He went on to star in the Johnny English film series, playing a bumbling, accident-prone British spy, once again showcasing his talent for physical comedy blended with clever, subtle acting choices. He continued performing in theater, television, and film for decades, consistently proving that his talent went far beyond one lucky character created back in 1990. Yet no matter how many other roles he took on throughout his long career, Mr. Bean remained, and still remains today, the character most instantly connected with his name, recognized on nearly every continent on Earth. It is a strange, almost ironic legacy for a man who once struggled simply to get his own words out clearly as a shy young boy. The character that made Rowan Atkinson famous around the entire world is a character who almost never speaks at all. In a strange way, Mr. Bean turned Rowan's own early struggle with speech into an enormous global strength. Instead of fighting against his natural gift for physical expression, he leaned into it completely, building an entire career and an entire beloved character around movement, expression, and perfect comic timing rather than words. Rowan Atkinson was once a quiet, stammering child who found it genuinely difficult to speak comfortably in front of other people. Many people in that exact same position might have spent their entire lives avoiding attention completely, staying as far away from public performance as they possibly could. Instead, he found an unexpected, unconventional way to express himself, one that did not depend on flawless, fluent speech at all. He built an entire career and one of the most recognized comedic characters in the entire world, using precisely the tools that felt most natural and comfortable to him: his face, his body, and his instinctive comic timing. His story reminds us that the exact thing that once felt like a personal weakness or a private struggle can sometimes become the very foundation of something truly remarkable, if you are willing to build around it, rather than simply hide it away. If this story moved you today, please like this video, subscribe to Story Fluency for more true stories that help you learn English naturally, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that their own struggle might just be pointing them toward their greatest strength. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next story.